So, folks, we have to talk about a little man named Elon Musk. Now, Elon is, at a bit of a crossroads in his life. He's been on the high highs and the low lows, surfing, the various different emotional
Says the usual,
cocktails.
nothing interesting or funny to say, but have some cash.
Well, Brutus Magnuson / Mithril, thank you for the $5 dono. I very, very appreciate it. That being said, Elon Musk is in a weird spot, right? Because he essentially entered politics as like Mr. Moneybags, with the idea being that he had enough money to basically nuke a campaign from orbit with ads, with all kinds of buy-ins to different campaigns, radio stations, billboards, etc. And that was his premise. That was the promise of his money. That was the helpfulness of him attaching himself to Donald Trump. It was that there was this implicit threat, lurking behind Donald Trump, that like Elon Musk's money would just nuke a race from orbit. And this largely was successful in keeping a lot of Republicans in line initially, right? And then Wisconsin happened, and Elon Musk, with all of his money, all of his influence, even him personally going to Wisconsin, didn't actually wind up winning the race for Republicans. And that was kind of a fatal blow for his value proposition in Republican circles. Because on top of all of that, like, his power was the thing that kept him there. It wasn't that they liked him. It wasn't that he was easy to work with. It wasn't any of that, because they all hated his guts. Very famously, there's a story that is now circulated in the press about how, Besant, I want to say Bissett, but I know that that's not right. Besant? Scott Besant? That doesn't sound right, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Basically chased Elon Musk down the halls of the White House, screaming, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." And he was not well liked. People had daggers out for him. Okay, they wanted him gone. And it also didn't help that he was constantly high on ketamine. Famously, like about a year ago, Elon Musk tweeted out something like he has an insanely high tolerance for ketamine, and now he's begging people to stop talking about his ketamine addiction. He gave an interview not that long ago to CBS, and it was 2 days ago. Here is that interview. We're just going to take a look at it. Because essentially, Elon Musk has been slowly phasing himself out of the Trump administration. And now there are a couple of different ways to look at this. One of them, and I think it's the accurate one, is that he has already gotten everything he wants out of the administration. He has all the data, he has all the contracts he wants or can get, and like there's nothing more that he gets out of this relationship in the short term, right? And the other part of it is that the reason there's nothing else he can get out of this is simply because he's worn out his welcome. They don't like him anymore. They aren't willing to give him more power and more stuff. So both things can be true at the same time. So let's take a look here. How did this interview go 2 days ago? Let's see if we can see how this goes.
To begin this morning, a man who truly needs no introduction, Elon Musk. He's talking with David Pogue.
He is a truly incredible guy, and I don't say that often.
In the beginning, Donald Trump and Elon Musk got along great.
Take over, Elon, just take over.
Musk spent $288 million to elect Trump and his allies.
God, I hate him.
They're also going to address the deficit. So
Trump invited Musk into the Oval Office and cabinet meetings. Musk called himself First Buddy.
You got to give him credit.
Trump welcomed Musk's idea to create a Department of Government Efficiency.
this is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
In 4 months, Doge took the chainsaw to every federal department. 250,000 workers were fired or bought out. Musk even slashed grants and staffing at environmental agencies like the EPA and NOAA after decades of warning about the risks of climate change. But Musk did not enjoy the pushback.
We received several 911 calls about a fire.
There were acts of violence, death threats, lawsuits, mandatory rehirings, shouting matches with cabinet members. Tesla profits plummeted by 71%.
Number one, it's a great product.
And Musk's net worth dropped by $100 billion.
And you know, I don't think that the Tesla brand is really going to recover from this. You know, I think what Elon is really banking on now is switching over his holdings from Tesla to SpaceX, right? Because essentially what he's done with SpaceX is he's just made it this gigantic like monolith that the government is funneling money into in order to fund like telecommunications networks and, you know, space flights. You know, just earlier today, he was talking about on Twitter about how, you know, the budget for SpaceX is now dwarfing the budget for NASA, or rather the revenue of SpaceX is now dwarfing the budget of NASA. And I just want to point out that the revenue for SpaceX is largely derived from government contracts. So just as an FYI, that revenue is your taxpayer dollars. You're literally paying Elon Musk to be as rich as he is for no reason.
No, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Last month, Musk finally left Washington, but still intended to work on Doge a day or two a week. And this past Tuesday, he offered us an interview at SpaceX's enormous headquarters at the southern tip of Texas. We knew we were in the right neighborhood when we saw this huge...
Holy shit. Okay, I gotta be honest here, guys. I did not pre-watch this. So he literally built a statue of himself outside of that. One, that's insane. That is an insane act of hubris. And two, it's so ugly. Why would you approve that? Why would you let that happen? You looked at your statue guy and said, yes, that looks pretty good. Yeah, like what is this Phantom of the Opera shit happening underneath the eye? Is it melting? Was it made out of chocolate? This is peak pathetic. It really is, you know? And that's the really important thing about every single one of these ghouls in the Trump administration. They're all equally pathetic in their own way. They're all like horribly not strong. What am I thinking of? Horribly accomplished losers.
Bust of Musk, installed by his...
Oh, it was defaced? No one... Oh my god. Okay, the picture of the defacing is even funnier. Okay? Holy shit. It's not even like a solid statue. It's a giant foam bust, and it's with a plastic cover. It's not even a fucking real He didn't even spring for a real statue of himself. Oh my god. Dude, you're the richest man on the planet. What are you doing with statues this shitty? Holy fuck. I was not prepared for this. Wait, it was commissioned by fans? I'm sorry, his fans paid for this? Holy shit. This is so funny.
His admirers and vandalized by his critics. But the interview didn't get off to a smooth start.
I noticed that...
Wait, commissioned by fans and made poorly on purpose as a meme reference to this drawing. Oh my god. You know, it's still a bad statue, even if this is the reference material.
All of your businesses involve a lot of components, a lot of parts. Do the tariffs and the trade wars affect any of this?
Tariffs always affect things a little bit.
Wondering what your thought is on the ban on foreign students, the proposal. I mean, you were one of those kids, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to stick to,
Also, yeah, he has a black eye that is, again, he says that it's from his 5-year-old because he, without elaboration, said he told his 5-year-old child to punch him in the face. And his 5-year-old child did. That's his explanation for it, by the way. The explanation that I choose to believe is the scuttlebutt around Washington, D.C., which is that Stephen Miller's wife was put on the Doge team in order to keep tabs on Elon and keep him focused, and instead started an affair with Elon and has since left Doge for SpaceX and Elon Musk, leaving Stephen Miller alone. And fun fact, Stephen Miller is left-handed, and that is a punch from a left-handed individual. So just throwing that out there, just throwing out some of the tea that's the scuttlebutt. I have no other additional info, but that is what I choose to believe. Is he Napoleon Dynamite IRL? No, because Napoleon Dynamite was actually endearing in some way. Like Elon is not that.
The subject of the day, which is like spaceships, as opposed to, presidential policy.
Oh, okay.
What do you think about not being allowed to hire foreign students? I do not want to talk about that. Celestial Heart, thank you for becoming a member on YouTube. Oh, okay. I mean, would not the barring of foreign students affect the building of spaceships?
I was told anything's good, but
No.
But Musk was willing to talk about the Doge firestorm.
Jesus Christ, what? Stephen Miller's left-handed explains why he's so sinister. Ah, yes. Reviving the bigotry of the 1920s.
you've spoken about how much of a grind and a stress it was on you. And, Tesla's reputation took a hit, your reputation took a hit. People are very upset about Social Security and national parks and air traffic and food safety and cancer research, Alzheimer's research. Now that you've had a chance to look at it,
Yeah.
might there have been a different approach?
Yeah, I think what was starting to happen was that, it's a bit unfair because, Doge became the whooping boy for everything. So if there was some cut...
I don't know if Elon Musk is high as a kite on ketamine in this, but dude's acting really fucking weird.
real or imagined, everyone would blame Doge. I've had people think that, somehow Doge is going to stop them from getting their social...
Wait, also, just real quick, I'm sorry.
Whooping boy for everything. So if there was some cut, real or imagined, everyone would blame Doge.
If there was some cut, real or imagined, then shouldn't they be blamed if it's real? If Doge did the cut?
I've had people think that, somehow Doge is going to stop them from getting their social security check, which is completely untrue.
It's absolutely true. Doge closed Social Security Administration offices. They tried to cut the phone support lines that elderly people use.
Sinistros is Latin for left. This is coming from someone who's ambi-sinistros, bad with both hands.
There's a market for that. Asake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs.
2 points to keep in mind. 1. Musk said he didn't want to discuss politics. 2. This interview took place before it was announced that Musk was leaving the Trump admin.
Oh yeah. Also, very knifey doc, thank you for the clarification and the $5 dono. But also, he doesn't want to discuss politics, but he's happy to discuss politics,
Well, I guess I was just thinking about the, move fast and break things, before you really understand what the agency does.
Yeah, I guess part of it is...
Well, why are you picking on me? I just fired 250,000 people from their jobs that was keeping them and their families alive. Why are you all mad at me? I'm just a little birthday boy. I'm just a little baby, I'm just, I in a way, I'm taking the ultimate load.
Not only can you take a load, you can take the ultimate load.
It's is depends on where you're coming from. So, I'm like a proponent of smaller government, not bigger government. So now if somebody's a proponent of, more government programs and bigger government, and they see, hey, Doge is cutting all these government programs, then they'll be fundamentally opposed to that because they just think the government should do more things. That's just a fundamental, I guess, ideology.
Again, this is very rich coming from a man whose literally entire existence as a businessman has been propped up by the US government. Like his SpaceX entirely funded, almost entirely funded. I shouldn't say entirely, almost entirely funded by taxpayer government grants. Literally, the big government gives him the money he has.
Logical opinion, but my frank opinion of the government is that like the government is just like the DMV that got big. Okay, so when you say like let's have the government,
I know that this is just built on like the assumption that people hate the DMV, but counterpoint here. It's actually good that people are required to get driver's licenses before they operate a motor vehicle. It's actually good that people, before they climb into the cockpit of a vehicle that can, propel, 1,000 pounds of steel at, 60, 70, 90, 100 miles per hour. It's actually good that people are required to know how to operate that thing safely. Hot take here. The DMV is good. Just make an appointment before you go. Don't just show up. Okay? Don't do that.
Do something. You should think, do you want the DMV to do it?
And then Musk started talking about the Trump administration. I hadn't even asked him about Trump.
And, it's not like I agree with everything the administration.
Oh.
But I thought the last place uncorrupted by capitalism was SPAYCE.
What? No.
Space!
I love that. I love that sound drop so much. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. God.
It does. So it's like, I agree with much of what the administration does, but we have differences of opinion. There's things that I don't entirely agree with. But it's difficult for me to bring that up in an interview because then it creates a bone of contention. So then I'm a little stuck in a bind where I'm like, well, I don't want to, speak out against the administration, but
I'm in a little bit of a bind because, I don't want to say something that I believe, because that would, it would be bad for my profits, because the government funds SpaceX. I wouldn't want to be punished by the administration for saying what I think.
I don't want to.
It's because he's a coward.
Also, I don't want to take responsibility for everything the administration is doing.
In what?
I gotta say, this is the when I talk about us genuinely being able to influence this administration by memeing and making fun of these motherfuckers. This is exactly what I mean. Like Elon Musk is weak. He's weak. Like he doesn't want to be made fun of because he's a special little birthday boy. And like he genuinely is like, well, I don't want to be associated with all of the evil things this administration does. And it's like, bitch, you literally have done maybe the most evil thing that the administration has done, which is cut off aid to millions of people around the world. Literally, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Yeah, here's David Brooks. And if you guys know anything about like political commentary and stuff, David Brooks is a conservative political pundit. His entire career is like defending conservatism, in a palatable way to liberals, right? Here he is. Here's what David Brooks has to say about Elon Musk's cuts to USAID.
Boston University account. How many people have died because of what Doge did at USAID?
And USAID was a very ill-managed organization. That's true. But according to the Boston University folks, so far 55,000 adults have died of AIDS in the 4 months since Trump was elected. 6,000 children are dead because of what DOGE did. That's just PEPFAR, the HIV. You add them all up, that's 300,000 dead, and we're 4 months in. Now you accumulate that over 4 years, the number of dead grows very high. There are mass murderers in the world, Pol Pot, Mao Zedong, Stalin. We don't have anybody on the list for America. And I don't think it's the same as committing the kind of genocide they did. But by taking away that agency and being at least semi-responsible for the deaths of probably by the end of this hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, that's Elon Musk's legacy. And the people who work at Tesla and SpaceX might want to think about that.
Also, I'm just going to throw this out there. I know that David Brooks isn't quite comfortable with the idea that, like, well, you know, it's not exactly the same kind of thing. I would actually argue that, like, willfully withholding food from people who are starving to death or medicine from people who will surely die without it is actually exactly the same. Like, you can, like, I'm sorry, you can't talk about events like the Holodomor, okay, and say like, oh, well, that's a genocide, but then turn and look at like, well, you know, 300,000 people dead, you know, because the United States decided to stop spending money in this way. That's not. Like, I'm sorry, if you have people who are dependent on your aid in that way, right? And you stop providing that aid and they die, you are responsible for that. You have created the relationship with these people where they are dependent on you. And so, like, the idea that it's not comparable, I mean, I think that, like, deliberate attempts, you know, whatever your motivation might not be like, oh, well, you know, we have to kill them all. But like, I genuinely, I don't really think it's a meaningful distinction to say, well, oh, well, you know, like it's just business. Like, I don't think allowing the slaughter of hundreds of thousands of people is like an acceptable thing because it's just business. It's just, you know, it's, oh, the bottom line didn't like it. You know, it cut into the profits. That isn't an excuse. That's actually bad. That actually doesn't excuse the crime that is occurring. And genuinely, and I think part of us, I think we also kind of need to engage with this seriously, which is that there are a large number of people in the United States who are conservative, who do not care that these people are going to die because a lot of them are black or brown. You know, they are non-white. And you can see this in the dichotomy between how a lot of conservatives talk about refugees from the white genocide in South Africa versus the cutting off of US aid. Okay, it is plain as day. And so there is an element here of conservatives just simply thinking actually it's good to kill black people because some of them are just racist, bigoted trash.
Racist, sexist, Republican. These words are virtually interchangeable.
That was a Republican speaking, by the way. That was from a Republican video that we watched over at PragerU. So, like, we just need to acknowledge this. It's important to acknowledge that a not insignificant motivation behind the popularity of cutting US aid is simply because there is a segment of the population here in America that is happy to watch non-white people perish otherwise preventable deaths. Yes. Also, yes, the white genocide isn't real. The very idea of white genocide, it was invented by a neo-Nazi in an American prison who was in prison for 166 years. You know, that was his sentence because he helped assassinate a Jewish broadcaster. So, like, you know, he also came up with the the 14 words and the 88 tenets, because he was a neo-Nazi, and the neo-Nazis love the 14 words and the 88 tenets. So, fun fact: the more you know. Let's get back to this interview with Elon.
Washington, federal workers say that Doge has left the government's operations in disarray. And worst of all, it might have all been for nothing. Musk claims to have saved the government $175 billion so far, nowhere close to his original target, or even his revised target. And that was before the president's new spending bill passed the House. According to the Congressional Budget Office, it will add $3.8 trillion to our debt over the next 10 years. It's now being debated in the Senate.
So, I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, doesn't decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
I actually thought that when this big, beautiful bill came along. I mean, everything he's done on Doge gets wiped out in the first year.
I actually thought about your work and all that hard work you did, it's gone. The interesting thing about this though is that I wonder, because let me be totally clear, all my cards on the table. I think that Elon Musk is a very dumb man, and so I'm wondering if he genuinely came in thinking he would find $2 trillion of waste in the US government. That is genuinely something a moron might think. And I think he thought that that's how the government works. And now he's like, but wait, I cut everything I could, and now they're trying to increase the national debt? What?
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both. My personal opinion.
And here's where the story gets a little complicated. Right after our interview, CBS News posted a clip of it to promote this very report. It was that part where Musk criticizes Trump's spending bill, and his remarks became news. It went all the way up to the White House.
Mr. President, Elon Musk in a television interview criticized the one big, beautiful bill.
Within 24 hours, Musk announced that his time in the Trump administration was officially over.
Oh, God. I genuinely hope that this is just a result of Donald Trump being done with this ghoul, I hope that it's less that Elon Musk is genuine, like he got everything he wanted and is getting out, and more that just Donald Trump just couldn't take him anymore,
Out of Doge, out of government. He said that the reason was that his limited 130-day stint as advisor was ending. But until that moment, he'd been saying that he still intended to work on Doge part-time.
Doge is going to continue just it's as a way of life, and I will have some participation in that, but as I've said publicly, my focus has to be on the companies at this point.
Truth is, the Trump-Musk relationship had already seemed to be cooling. Trump used to post about Musk about 6 times a week, but by April, he'd stopped mentioning Musk altogether.
Today it's about a man.
God, it really is like a bad breakup.
Named Elon.
Still, on Friday, they held a media event at the White House to confirm their mutual admiration and to leave the door open for future collaboration.
And Elon's really not leaving. He's going to be back and forth, I think. I have a feeling.
The Doge team is doing an incredible job. They're going to continue doing an incredible job, and I'll continue to be visiting here and be a friend and advisor to the president.
Trump kicked Bolton out because of a mustache. I never would have thought Musk would outlast RFK Jr. with the spastic dysphonia.
Yeah, genuinely, I'm surprised. I think, though, that Donald Trump likes RFK Jr.'s machismo. I think he likes that. Also, he likes that it's a Kennedy, Rooting for the giant meteor used to be a joke. Lawrence, thank you for the $2 super chat. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Elon is high as fuck in this. Well, yeah, you can see his eyes bugging out.
Musk might be the first to admit that his Doge experiment gave him a black eye. Like the actual black eye he had on Friday, which he says he got from his 5-year-old son, or the matching one on that statue. At least for now, Musk says that his focus will be running his business ventures: Tesla, Starlink, X, XAI, Neuralink, Optimus Robots, The Boring Company.
Oh God, can we just like take a moment? Like, y'all know those robots aren't going to be doing shit, right? Like, you guys know that, right? Like, you all know that that's horse shit, right? Like, none of you have like fallen in and think that like the robots are actually going to function, right? Like they literally had to get a guy in a suit to do the initial launch. His self-driving tech is in a massive... okay, real talk, all self-driving tech is a massive safety hazard. Jack, did you see during this part when Donald is giving a farewell to Musk that Donald doesn't know how wiring works? He makes a comment about wiring and copper, how wiring and copper aren't compatible. I did not see that. Fuck.
And SpaceX.
Are all of your businesses related in some way?
Well, I guess you can think of the businesses as things that improve the probable...
Dude's gone, man. Like, he's like spacing as fuck.
Trajectory of civilization. The probable as things that improve the probable trajectory of civilization. So, for making life multiplanetary or extending life to Mars, the idea there is to ensure the long-term survival of life and consciousness as we know it.
We're going to use this launch to kind of further accelerate...
After our interview Tuesday, we were invited to witness the 9th launch of his Starship, the biggest rocket ever built. The 2 previous Starship tests ended in explosions, or as SpaceX puts it, rapid, unscheduled disassemblies. So all eyes were on Test Launch 9 to see if a Starship could return to Earth in one piece.
As Musk left our interview to watch the launch, he said something that could summarize all of his enterprises. I can't guarantee success, but I can guarantee excitement.
Can I just say I hate how mainstream media talks about Elon Musk? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you glazing this absolute loser clown? Hey, you know who could have done this better? You know what could have done space launches better? NASA. NASA could do that with a fraction of the budget. NASA was putting men on the moon with a box of scraps.
In the end, Elon Musk's giant rocket spun out of control. It did not survive re-entry.
I'm shocked. I wouldn't be standing so close to that spaceship. Yeah, no kidding. God. No, there are no commies in space? Wrong. The communists must already be in space. That's why Elon is failing.
Space!
Oh, God. Yeah, I was going to say I'm no science geek, but didn't somebody nail down rocket launches like 50 years ago? Yeah, like that's the thing, right? Like the marginally cool aspect of SpaceX is that they have reusable rockets, but like NASA could have done that. You know, we like genuinely like we had reusable spaceships already. They just need to actually fund NASA. Like, the reason NASA kept fucking up is because they were chronically underfunded. Reusable rockets mean you have to use more fuel. Yeah, I mean, that's the other aspect of it, isn't it? Like the space shuttle, yes. Oh, yeah, this lady standing next to, like, the literal mountain of code she wrote at NASA. Like, Jesus Christ. Can you imagine handwriting all of this shit? Margaret Hamilton? Jesus Christ. It's literally as tall as her. Maybe a little bit taller. Queen shit indeed. Can we have a gay space colony with artificial wombs? It's Pride Month. We can have anything we want. Okay, so you might think, okay, well, that's where the story ends. Haha, let's point and laugh at Elon Musk, right? Like, that's typically where this story would end, except that the crash out has continued. In fact, Elon Musk is not doing so hot and is, in fact, actively railing against the Republican budget bill. So this is looking less and less like it's actually like an amicable break, and is instead looking more like, oh, he actually did have to leave before he was through doing what he wanted to do. Because dude's literally on Twitter all day, every day now, tweeting, mammoth spending bills are bankrupting America. Enough. And like, he's also, it will massively increase the already gigantic budget deficit to $2.5 trillion and burden American citizens with crushingly unsustainable debt. I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. And this is maybe the most damning one of all. In November next year, we fire all politicians who betrayed the American people. So, like, genuinely, if this breakup leads to Elon Musk throwing money against Republicans, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm not going to hold my breath, but like, genuinely, Elon Musk on his jilted lover arc, I'm kind of here for it. Yeah, sure. Let's get all of the people who were very cowardly and voted for this bill that's going to kill the American people. Yeah, let's get them out of office. I agree, actually. This, by the way, is why you don't cozy up to like try and get in Republican good graces, by the way, because genuinely you don't have to. They're eventually going to like begin fighting with each other and take, your side in part anyway. Man, most divorced man brings divorced energy to politics. Yeah, no kidding. There are no Republican good graces. Well, that's exactly it, right? It's an illusion. It's the stuff that like people like Cenk Uygur chase. It's all illusory. It's not real. So I just think that this is really funny and really good. And also an indicator that Elon Musk
I
is
went to use
crashing
the bathroom,
out.
And I come back for this. Here is a celebratory donation.
One-Eyed Heathen, thank you for the $5 dono. But I'm also, the good news is cut with a little bit of the weird and wild. And that is that Elon Musk isn't doing okay, which should be patently obvious by the fact that he's having a public meltdown now over this budget bill, which is, I'm all for him having a public meltdown, but it's not, it doesn't speak well of where he's doing personally. But I think we have reached rock bottom on how cooked Elon Musk's ketamine-fueled brain is at. Like, we've reached rock bottom for him. And I know that because of another tweet that he put out yesterday at 8:14 in the morning. That's right. That's Elon Musk tweeting out, "What if alt hissed?"
I am the intellectual equivalent of an assault rifle. I am very proud of the mental horsepower you have. The spirits like to convey the message that you should mentally see me as Gandalf.
So, folks, you guys all thought that this was just going to be the end of like a standalone story about the state of politics and, the wild world of Elon Musk and SpaceX and Doge and Tesla. But no, it doesn't stop there. We have to dive deeper. We have to find out what exactly is Elon Musk elevating from What If Alt Hissed, okay? And I just need you all to know, you all might have thought it was weird, right? That I was covering so much What If Alt Hissed. You guys all thought it might have been a bit bizarre that I was focusing on this weirdly large channel that just has inane gobbledygook about, like, history. that is backed up by nothing except for the insane ramblings of a guy who's incapable of, would be incapable of having a discussion with an actual history professor. If you guys want to know more about What If Alt Hist, I have a little playlist where we go over his manifesto, his spiritual manifesto. And boy, howdy, do I recommend listening to like any point within the middle of one of those videos about his beliefs, if you want to get an idea of just how cooked your brain has to be to listen to this guy and think he has good ideas. And so with that, folks, we're going to continue this in part 2. Okay, you got a part 1. Now we got to go into part 2. Let's fucking go.
Riverboat Jack is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is switching streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.